Hi everyone, Janie here. Welcome back. I have another fantastic garden tour for you all. I want to introduce you to Bob Traverso. Bob, thank you so much for letting me be here.
Happy to help.
So Bob was on the Pence Gallery garden tour yesterday. The tour was yesterday. How do you think it went?
I think it went very well. We had, my wife says probably around 400 people come through here.
I believe it.
Yeah.
I believe it.
So.
And your garden was a hit. It was a hit. This is a gardener's garden for sure. So how long have you lived in this property?
I've been here since 1983. Bought it as an empty lot, designed and built a house, and then landscaped the front and back.
Yeah.
Over the last umpteen years.
Yeah. And has it been mostly you doing the landscaping?
I've done all the landscaping other than some of the hardscape that we see here, and putting in the vat pond and a few things. But there's a whole history to that vat pond, which we can get into.
I can't wait to show you guys a close-up look of it. I was taking picture after picture of it because of the reflection. It's incredible. So one thing I noticed about your property when I was touring it yesterday is there's quite a lot of shade here. So you know, have you adjusted to that? Is it because the trees have grown over the years?
Well, I planted the trees with the idea of creating afternoon shade on most of the property, just because we live in the valley and it's hot.
It's so hot.
So the only place I really wanted sun was in this part of the backyard, so that I could have at some point a vegetable garden, which is now there.
It's beautiful. It's gorgeous. So I think it's really, this tour is going to be really interesting because it's going to show not only do you have a lot of shade, but you have a lot of color in this garden. So we have a colorful shade garden to show you. All right, Bob. So we are in the front of your home and you can see it's colorful and it's a bit shady.
Very shady.
Very shady.
By design.
Yes. So did you plant these trees?
Well, this tree was a gift from my staff when I was city manager in Davis.
Oh.
My father died in January of 1990, so this was a living memorial tree.
Aww.
They gave me, it was a 1-gallon can.
1 gallon.
So I planted that in 1990, and there's a plaque at the base of the tree commemorating my father.
Oh, that's so wonderful. So it's your father's tree.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that. Shorty Traverso. Oh,
his nickname Shorty was because when he played football, everybody on the team was taller than him. So they called him Shorty.
So he was Shorty, even though maybe he wasn't that short. Right. So this is incredible. Now, you have picked all these plants yourself. Tell me why, like, I see a lot of impatiens. I see lobelia. I see one of my favorite, ageratum.
These are along the front. They're plants that like some afternoon sun, and they provide color. And many of these are perennial, like the Astralmeria and this Gardemeister.
What is this one?
Gardmeister. It's a fuchsia.
Oh, it's gorgeous. I need this. I need this one. It's absolutely beautiful.
And these are like our Astralmeria. This one, that one, that one.
Oh, you guys, look at all of these. So tell me about the lighting requirements. Is it?
Well, again, these are a mixture of plants that like some sun, and they can tolerate the sun in the afternoon. The further back you go into the yard, they tend to be shadier more of the day, and so they're plants that are better suited for that.
Oh, interesting.
But again, I wanted seasonal color, and yet I want a certain mixture of perennial plants that are going to really add nice accents to the yard.
And that you don't have to keep replacing.
Exactly. And so I like to prune them in a bonsai kind of fashion.
That's incredible. Now, what is this plant right here? The bonsai.
This is a mugo pine.
Oh, okay.
And that's probably 40 years old.
Whoa.
Yeah. Right.
Whoa.
Yeah.
So that was that was an early planting.
That was a 1 gallon
You're
plant.
Kidding. That must be so fun to see all these plants kind of grow up and everything. Now, can you tell us about this giant tree behind you?
Yeah, this is a city street tree. It was put in about 40 years ago. And it's a Chinese tallow. Most of the year, it's a very pretty, shady tree. However, as it turns out, the city subsequently realized that this tree has very brittle wood. So there's been several limbs that are broken off this tree. and landed either on my roof, in my landscaping, on the driveway, or on the sidewalk in the street.
Okay.
The roots have uplifted my driveway 3 different times,
Oy.
which I've had to replace.
Oy.
So I went to the city a few months ago and petitioned to have the city remove the tree.
Yeah.
And the city council approved it. So tomorrow morning at 7 o'clock, it's going to come out.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Tomorrow morning. It's coming out. So how do you think removing this big shade tree is going to change the front
Well,
yard?
it's going to definitely affect this area of the yard. Most of these plants, though, can handle the extra sun. Some of these plants, the fuchsias and impatiens, will get some afternoon shade from these 2 crepe myrtles. So it won't be too bad.
Okay.
And I'm going to replace this city tree with a city crepe myrtle that's going to go right in this area.
Oh, nice.
So there'll be 3 crepe myrtles here, and they're all the multi-trunk type crepe myrtles.
Love them.
Yeah.
I love them.
Yeah.
So you seem to lean heavily on impatiens.
Well, they're beautiful seasonal color.
Right.
You know? And a lot of these have overwintered this last winter.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
We didn't have a really hard freeze, and so many of them survived. There was, and some of the tuberous begonias survived.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, it's just gorgeous.
That area in there is sort of a rock pond, and that's some papyrus in there.
Oh, beautiful.
It's a dwarf papyrus.
Beautiful.
And then we have a water fountain in the back there.
Can we go up here and take a look at it? So I love the pathways that you have in here.
Well, we wanted to keep it as natural looking as possible.
And I'm sorry, I have to point out your Hakonakloa.
Yeah.
This is stunning. How did you get it to get so big so quickly?
Well, it's been there about 3 years, and it loves the spot, as you can see.
Do you cut it back?
I thin it when it dies back a fair amount in the winter.
Okay.
And I do some trimming, but it's not heavily pruned, but it sort of self-prunes.
It's stunning. Yeah. It is so stunning.
These are canna lilies that are starting to come up.
Gorgeous.
They'll get about 5 feet high.
What color are they?
The blossom is orange color.
Oh my gosh.
They're
so
really
Bob
pretty.
likes color.
Yeah.
Everybody. Bob has a lot of shade, and he still loves color, which is just fantastic.
These are gardenias, which have white blossoms.
Beautiful.
They'll be blooming in a while.
And then all his impatiens. These are just gorgeous.
These are azaleas, which have kind of a rose pink color.
Oh, nice.
They just finished blooming, as you can see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then this beautiful fountain.
So this is on a timer, and it's a closed system. And so it comes on at 6:30 in the morning, goes off at 9 o'clock at night.
Oh my gosh. So just easy. You don't have to worry about it.
Yeah. And well, there's no water supply to it, but the sprinklers, when they come on, provide water. So it gets in the cups and down in here, and it just keeps the water supply up.
You've got it. You got it all worked out.
Yeah, right.
So tell me a little bit about your rock pond.
We wanted some open area in here that was a natural looking feature, and so we decided on this tricolored pebbles you see in here.
Yeah.
And there's a nylon mesh underneath that.
Okay.
So that the weeds can't come up.
Oh, nice.
And then planted in that are those 3 dwarf papyrus.
Right.
And we've got, the impatiens out there.
Beautiful.
And this one's been here a while, and again, I have to remember the name of it.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's hard when someone comes with a camera and says,
well,
there's
160 varieties of plants in here, species.
That's amazing that you know that.
Oh, I have a spreadsheet.
Oh my gosh, Bob, I love you now so much more. That's fantastic. Can we go look at the front porch area?
Yeah.
Man, this fuchsia is just...
It thrives here.
I hope the color is coming across. It's this beautiful coral color, but then the cool thing is the leaves are really dark and have this burgundy vein to it. It's beautiful. Wow.
And that's a holly that provides berries for the birds in the winter.
Oh, I love it.
And then that's a camellia. And up until... Well, until the city converted to Sacramento River water several years ago, we really couldn't grow camellias and azaleas and things here because the water was too hard. There's too much boron in the water.
Yes, I've heard that.
Yeah, so now this thrives here.
Now it's happier. Yeah. So just to elaborate a little bit more. We used to get water from...
They were groundwater wells.
Right.
And the city would go down roughly 600 feet for the water.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a reliable source of water for the quantities that, you know, we dealt with at the time. But the quality was always hard water.
Right.
And so most people in Davis had to have water softeners.
Right.
So they didn't get the mineral buildup in the
Right.
fixtures in the house.
Yeah.
Well, once we switched over to the Sacramento River water jointly with City of Woodland, and now we have high quality,
Much
softer
better.
water. Yeah. And a lot more plants can thrive with that water.
Yeah, and everybody can get rid of their water softeners.
Yeah, we got rid of our water softener.
We have one that's unplugged in our garage.
Yeah.
Can you...
This is a fuchsia.
Oh my gosh. How do you do this?
They well, it's good soil where we are. This particular area of Davis has A1 soil.
Okay.
And plus I use, it's called 420 potting mix.
Oh, yes.
And so the whole yard, front and back, is topped with this potting mix.
Oh, interesting. So you just put it like as mulch.
It's 60 bags of potting mix, which is essentially a pallet of potting bags spread around front and back.
And how often do you do that?
Well, I did it all this year, but I would say every few years I do some top dressing.
Wow.
You know, because it provides nutrients, it provides mulch, it helps prevent evaporation.
So the 420 potting mix, I know exactly what you're talking about.
And I got it at Redwood Barn Nursery.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So how old is that fuchsia right there?
It's probably 4 years old.
It's gorgeous.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
I've only grown fuchsia in hanging baskets.
Yeah. And well, we have some in the back.
Do you? Well, okay. We'll have to go there.
Yeah.
Can you tell me about your Japanese maple back there?
Yeah, this is a Japanese maple. That started from a seedling.
No.
Yeah. And that's been there about 12 years now.
Wow.
And I keep it top down. I don't want it to get too big in this area.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. And I've got to do a little pruning on it now.
You have to be pretty proud of this garden.
Oh, I enjoy it.
This garden is a stunner. Tell me about this tree right here.
So this tree, this bush, this is a bottle brush. It's a dwarf bottle brush.
Dwarf, okay.
Similar to the one right over here.
Okay.
This just is a little taller.
Yeah.
Just for screening purposes.
It's beautiful.
And the hummingbirds love it.
Do they?
Oh yeah, and there's some in the backyard too.
So we're headed to the backyard, but I wanted to show off what Bob uses. So this is the magic sauce.
This is the magic sauce.
Okay.
It just seems to have a really good nutritional value to it.
Okay. You're not the first person I've heard talk
and
about
Don
that.
Shore, Redwood Barn, highly recommended it. So
Okay.
I started using this a number of years ago.
All right, on to the back.
This is another bottle brush.
Wow, look at this. Look at this.
And
There's
this
leaves
would
all
get
over it?
this would get much taller, but we keep it pruned down to about this height.
You do prune it.
Yeah,
Okay.
to keep the scale. Yeah.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, you're making me want to get one of these. So look at the shade, everybody. And still, there's color everywhere, and there's pollinators everywhere, Bob. I love it. While we're saying that, can we talk about your wildlife garden certification? What is that?
Well, the National Wildlife Association has certain criteria that if you can meet those criteria, they will certify your garden as a National Wildlife Habitat. And so you have to fill out a form and provide the information that they request. And if you meet their criteria, then they certify the yard. So this yard was certified, 20-some years ago.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Right.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
That's a big deal. Every time I see that, it's like, oh, that's fantastic. Oh, this is incredible. Really beautiful.
These are Calabrachia, and they will cascade over. Yeah, you can step up there. They will cascade over the sides of the basket after.
As they grow.
Yeah.
And I see you have your baskets hooked up to drip. That's interesting.
Yeah, they're all, everything in the pots and a lot of the shrubbery and flowers you see are on drip.
Okay.
But there's still a portion of the original sprinkler system that was here, because this area here was lawn.
Oh, it was?
So it had sprinkler system. So I kept some of the sprinkler because I wanted to be able to spray the foliage to get the dust off, to knock off certain insects, that kind of thing.
Yeah,
that kind of thing.
That. Yeah.
So, but for the most part, it's on drip, and they're all on timer. So And the duration and the frequency of the timers depends on the time of year.
Okay.
You know, in the wintertime, for the most part, I turn everything off
Yeah.
because we get the rain.
Right.
But starting in the spring, then I start reactivating the timers and increasing the duration and the frequency as it gets hotter during the year, and then step it back as we go into the fall.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, everything is looking beautiful.
Yeah.
I know it's spring, it's early, but everything is looking gorgeous. Oh, look at your begonias back there.
Yeah.
Did those winter over?
Yeah. That's been there for probably 3 or 4 years.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Should we talk about your...
Yeah.
First, let's talk about this fountain, and then we'll go over there and we'll talk about that one.
So this is a closed water system. There's a reservoir underneath. It's on a timer, and these rocks I bought over at Pottery World, and they're from China, and they're bored vertically from top to bottom.
Oh my gosh.
So they will deliver and install them for you, but you have to prepare the reservoir and the water and electrical hookup for it. And they come out and put them in.
Did you plant the moss on there?
And the moss came off of the other vat pond.
Oh, okay.
And
how do you get it to stay?
Well, as you can see, there's some wire around the top.
Oh,
Because of the water and the smooth surface, it was very difficult to keep the moss on there initially. And so I used the wire to give it sort of an anchor point.
Something to grab onto.
And it gradually establishes itself and then starts adhering to the rock.
This is just incredible. I want this.
And again, this is on a timer, so it comes on at 6:15 in the morning, goes off at 9 at night.
Wow.
The birds love it.
Yeah.
You see them drinking and bathing here all the time.
Oh, I just love it. Yeah. When was this installed?
This is, well, that was right after this was done. So this has probably been here 8 or 9 years.
Oh, okay.
Something like that.
Oh, I just love it. I love it.
Yeah.
Can I ask you a quick question about this?
Yeah.
So I see that it's flagstone and then it has some gravel in between, but
the pea gravel,
but it's glued. Do you guys?
Well, it's a clear, permeable sealer.
Okay.
So when everything was done, then my landscape guy put that sealer over here.
Okay.
It locks in the pea gravel so it's not loose.
Yeah.
But it's permeable. So when it rains, there's never standing water here. It just goes right through.
I love it.
So it recharges the groundwater.
I love it.
Yeah.
I've been looking at, because I have decomposed granite,
Yeah.
like big chunks of it, and
Yeah.
I wanted to do something. My husband and I were back here yesterday looking at your gravel.
Yeah.
It's really gorgeous.
Yeah.
All right, should we talk about
Sure.
this incredible thing?
So this is a Clearheart redwood wine vat.
Oh my gosh.
It's about 100+ years old. It's from my grandfather, my Italian grandfather. He used this to ferment grapes to make wine for home use. And when I started making wine with him in the 60s, when I was in graduate school, this is what he gave me this to use it for my winemaking, because he had stopped making wine at that point. And so I used this for home winemaking for probably 35 years maybe.
First of all,
myself.
Home winemaking.
Yeah.
Man, that's amazing.
I made very good wine.
Did you? Well, with a vat like this, how could you not, right?
Well, after I retired as city manager of Davis in 2002, I did several years in management consulting and so on. And in 2002, friends for years had been telling me I should sell my wine.
Oh.
So I decided to start a boutique winery over in Napa. So I did.
What was it called?
Traverso Wines.
Traverso Wines?
And I made very high quality red and white wines. They were gold, double gold, platinum medal type wines.
Are you serious?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Bob.
And I'll talk more about that. Okay. But anyway, so I used this for home winemaking until I started the boutique winery.
Oh, okay.
Well, then I didn't use it anymore because I had winery equipment I could use, and it was easier to clean and move around.
Right, yeah.
When I made wine here. But I didn't want to get rid of this because of the history.
Oh, yeah.
And it was sitting on the side yard, taking up, as you can imagine, a big part of the side yard over there. And it was there for years. I didn't know what to do with it. Well, one time my wife and I went down to Ventana Inn, south of Carmel.
Okay.
And we walked into their outer patio, and they had an infinity pond made out of this kind of vat.
No.
I said, bingo.
Done. Done.
So that's what we did. So I hired John Rensig, and he came in and created the reservoir underneath.
It's just like those rocks over there.
Yeah.
Right? There's a reservoir underneath.
It's a closed water system. and
Wow.
it's recirculates. It's got a pump. It's got a timer, and
it just
there's
spills over the edge.
There's 2 koi in
Oh,
there.
there are.
Yeah,
Oh.
and they will consume a lot of the vegetative material inside. We never get mosquitoes because it's moving water. To the extent there were any mosquito larvae when the pump goes off at night, the fish would eat them.
Food for the fish.
But I have never fed those fish in 12 years.
You're kidding.
They live strictly off of what's in the vat, so it's a closed ecosystem.
So you just don't have to worry about
Don't
it.
Yeah.
Do you ever have to clean it?
No. The only thing I do once in a while, because the fish provide nutrients for the plants, so they neutralize the moss, and it creates this algae that flows over,
which is beautiful.
and it adds some real character. But once in a while, I'll take some of it off. And when I do, I squeeze it over plants because it's got so much nutrients in it.
Oh my goodness. Bob,
Yeah.
this is incredible. Can you tell me about your water plants that you have here?
Well, these are 2 water lilies.
Water
They'll bloom later in the summer.
Wow, and they're in little baskets?
They're in little clay pots.
Oh my goodness. And then how does this...
This slate, what we did, if you look over here, there's a vertical stem pipe that comes up. That's the water supply that comes into the vat.
Okay.
So what we did is put concrete blocks around that all the way down to the bottom, and then that slate sits on those concrete blocks.
This is stunning.
And it provides habitat for the fish. They can, that kind of thing.
Hide underneath that
exactly.
if they want
Right.
to. Oh, this is incredible. And then more, is that Scotch moss?
Yeah,
is
it's
that
like
what
a
it is?
Scotch moss, and that's the horsetail reed.
Oh, it is just so beautiful. This is just, I mean, this is stunning. This is so incredible. And it's really beautiful under the shade of, this is another tallow.
Yeah.
But you're going to keep this one.
This one we'll keep.
Okay. All right. Man, this is gorgeous. Oh, look at what you have over here, too.
Yeah, this is lava rock. That's pumice.
Wow.
And I got those originally because we had them drilled for cavities to plant in them.
Oh, yeah.
And I put them here, and I was going to plant, or initially I did plant impatiens in them. And then the moss gradually started growing on there, and I liked it so much I just stopped.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
And this is more dwarf papyrus for accent.
Yeah, and it probably likes the extra water with this.
Yeah.
Man, isn't this incredible?
Yeah.
And it's so relaxing back here. You know what I mean? But you
Yeah.
still...
It's like a quiet park effect, you know.
Exactly.
And we have our hot tub here. It's covered.
So you can
and
enjoy
we
that.
go out here every morning and have our cappuccino, enjoy the garden, and chat about the day and so on.
What a nice life.
Yeah.
What a nice life. Tell me about this beautiful tree.
This is a strawberry tree. It's a common name.
Oh.
And I keep this pruned back and bonsai'd
It's gorgeous.
just to keep the scale for the yard.
Oh, it's gorgeous.
And it gets little, these things here, these little fruits, and some of the birds like to eat these.
Beautiful. And this has those really pretty blooms in the winter.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Wow, this is just beautiful.
Yeah.
Definitely a wildlife garden. Can I point out your fuchsia? over
Yeah.
there?
That basket, the lower basket is also fuchsia.
Oh my gosh. Ooh, I like how you've doubled up the baskets.
Yeah, the top one drips into the lower one.
Oh man, what a good idea.
Yeah.
Gosh, your fuchsias are just stunning.
Yeah.
So this one, how old is this one?
This has been here maybe 3 years.
Wow.
Yeah. And I keep it pruned about that size.
It's just beautiful.
And it's a dwarf, so it wouldn't naturally get very big anyway.
Oh, okay.
But I keep it
It's
pruned.
just so impressive that you can grow fuchsia like that.
Yeah.
I'm going to make that my...
Well, again, because of the water, the change in the city's water, we can do that now.
Oh, interesting.
It was much harder before. You would have to treat the soil with lime, sulfur, whatever, to offset the hardness of the water.
And now we don't have to worry about it.
Yeah.
Oh,
and this is a bay tree, so when we cook, we just pick a leaf.
isn't that nice? Isn't that wonderful? Can I show off your
Sure.
your certified habitat?
Yeah, and then this is a wine press.
My goodness, you're right.
Yeah. My grandfather used it, and then I used it for years until I, again, started the boutique winery, and then
Wow. Can we still get Traverso wine?
No.
Not anymore.
Unless you're nice to me, and then I could give it to you.
Hey, Bob, I really like your garden.
Okay.
Beautiful, beautiful hot tub. Oh, are you propagating?
This is avocado. I'm going to graft these. I got these last night. After a friend of mine was here last night, and I was telling him my avocado tree has been there probably 10 years. It's supposed to be a self-pollinating tree. It gets blossoms, but it doesn't produce the avocado. So he's got avocado trees. So we went over to their house for dinner last night, and he cut some branches for me. So I'm going to graft those, and hopefully they will take and cross-pollinate. And we'll get avocados.
So you're going to be putting a different type of tree onto the same tree.
It's a different variety of avocado.
Wow.
Yeah.
So how did you get so into gardening? You are like a gardener's gardener. How did you get so into it?
I just always enjoyed it. I grew up with it. My grandparents had vegetable gardens, flower gardens. My parents did. And when I came to Davis in '69, we bought and built a house out in Westwood. I landscaped it, and I just really got into it. And initially, I was doing all the things that Sunset Magazine said you should do with the inorganic pesticides and herbicides and fertilizers.
Yep.
I was constantly having pest problems.
Yep.
And finally, one year, I decided I'm just going to stop using all the pesticides and see what happens. And I did, and we didn't have any problem.
Wow. Because
the pest insects were being consumed by the good insects.
Yep.
And the pest insects reproduce quicker than the good insects.
Yeah.
And so when I was killing everything with the pesticides, I was upsetting the balance. And so the pest insects always staying ahead of the good guys.
Yeah, absolutely.
So in this yard, I don't use anything in the way of inorganic pesticides, herbicides, fertilizer, whatever.
Wow, so it's all organic.
Yeah, it's all organic.
Wow,
it's all natural.
Bob, that is very, very cool.
Other than this 420 potting soil.
Well, yeah, but that stuff is, I guess it's organic, right? You can call that organic. So this is your vegetable garden?
Yeah, so a couple tomato plants, some garlic here, some spinach. These are bachichi beans that are just coming up.
Bachichi beans?
Yeah, these are a bush bean that the Italian immigrants brought over from villages around Genoa, which where my grandparents are from.
Interesting.
And they all settled around Stockton.
Oh.
And so for years, you could buy these bean seeds at Lockhart Nursery in Stockton. And so I never saved the seed. I always just ordered in a batch. Well, about 5 years ago, I called up Lockhart to order some seed. And they said, oh, we don't have it anymore. What? He said, well, yeah, all the old timers have died. The younger generation doesn't garden like their old folks, did. And so the farmers stopped growing it because they couldn't sell the crop.
Oh my goodness.
So, my God, so I had a few seeds. So I managed to save a few. But it turns out my brother's son-in-law is a big farmer in Linden, which is east of Stockton.
Okay.
And he knows the one Italian guy that still grows these beans, but he won't sell the seed. He sells the beans to eat at a fruit stand.
Oh my gosh.
So I talked to my brother. I said, you got to talk to your son-in-law and get some of these seeds.
Go to the fruit stand.
So go to the farmer. He knows the farmer.
Oh, okay.
So my brother's son-in-law went to the farmer, got us a big bag of seeds.
Oh.
So now we've repropagated these, and I reintroduced them to Italy.
You did?
I got a good friend, Italian friend of mine, is a ag business manager guy in the slow food movement in Genoa. So I got a hold of him, told him about these beans. He didn't have any idea what I was talking about. He said, send me some seeds. So I sent him some seed. Nobody knew about it there because they were apparently a seed that had developed over centuries in these little mountain villages, very isolated.
Oh my goodness.
But they're delicious. They're a bush bean that gets about so tall.
Okay.
The bean gets about that long. And I pick them when they're medium mature.
Yeah.
I lightly steam them till they're al dente. Use some fresh sliced tomato, some fresh garlic, my homemade red wine vinegar, good olive oil. I make focaccia.
Bob.
It's a great lunch.
My mouth is watering. Oh my goodness. So, well, I have to say, huge thank you for saving this bean.
Yeah.
I mean, that is huge.
Yeah.
That is incredible.
Yeah, it was tragic. I mean, it's delicious bean, and all of a sudden it was almost gone.
Yeah.
Almost gone.
Yeah.
And so now they've been reintroduced to Italy, and we have a source now, and we give them to various Italian friends of mine that are my age and generation. Yeah. And so the rest of this is kale. This is new kale.
Okay.
And this is older kale.
Yeah.
This was planted last fall. And then this Swiss chard was planted last fall.
Yummy.
And we use this every morning. We make protein drinks, and we put kale, Swiss chard, fresh fruits like blueberries, raspberries, strawberries, blackberries, carrot, apple, whatever.
Do you juice it or do you?
Juice it, yeah.
Oh my.
And so every morning we have a couple of big glasses of that.
Wow.
And it's plant-based protein powder.
Wow.
We're plant-based now.
Are you really?
Yeah. Being 84, you know, I try to stay in shape and eat well and
You're doing
exercise.
good, Bob.
Yeah.
You're doing good.
Yeah.
So let me ask you, this looks like it's in some shade right now.
Well, it gets morning shade, but the sun goes this way.
So it gets plenty of afternoon sun.
Plenty of afternoon sun.
They're obviously growing fantastic.
Oh, yeah. So this is an apricot tree. This other tree over here is a peach tree. And then that's a Eureka lemon, and that's a navel orange.
Wow.
And then on the side yard, the what?
You have an orchard in your backyard. I didn't even notice.
And then an avocado tree on the side yard. That's where I'm grafting.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. So, look at that. Yeah. How did you fit this in your side yard?
Well, I keep it pruned up.
Oh, that's incredible.
Yeah.
How
I got to do some more pruning on it, but.
Unfortunate that it's not producing.
Yeah.
But hopefully, I'd love to hear what happens with the grafting.
Yeah.
That's incredible. Well, Bob, this is very interesting and incredible and inspiring. I cannot believe that you've done all this. I mean, you've been here for a very long time. So, you know, but just the work that you've put into this and the interest and you know, like every little thing is just the most interesting thing. You obviously are a gardener's gardener. I don't know how else to say it. I hope you understand that that is a compliment of compliments.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, again, I come from a long line of Italian peasants that were farmers, and they grew plants and vegetables, and I guess it's in the blood.
It's in your blood. I love it. I love it.
So.
Well, I just want to thank you so much again. I appreciate it. And thank you for being on the Pence Gallery.
Oh, we enjoyed it. Happy to help.
Oh, my goodness. It was so fun to see this yesterday. All right, everyone. Well, I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope you all have a chance to get in your garden today.